Module John Madden behind Lenore Ryan University and the Chamber of Commerce and the Visitor Center in Asheville. I just met a spectacular young woman named Carolina in Mexico and Bolivia, who spent 12 years in Bolivia. And the thing I missed in all that was how wonderful it is she is in North Carolina. And I'm going to tell a story about the Caroline in Carolina. I had a huge spiritual wake-up call 6 years ago now, June 26th of 2019. And one of the main things that happened was I dropped all my judgments. Mostly, almost entirely, became really committed to not having judgments. But one judgment I allowed myself to keep was against Neil Diamond. When I was in grad school at Rochester, there was a new faculty member, Bob Nideffer, who thought he was the shit. And he taught a class on altered states of consciousness to us hippie clinical psychologists. We were 2 classes ever that were student radicals. And he had us at his home on the floor to induce an altered state of consciousness by playing a Neil Diamond song. And my classmates remember this moment really well. In the middle of it, I sat up and said, I'm not doing this. Neil Diamond is a schlock Las Vegas performer. And every one of us in this room knows more about altered states of consciousness than you do. It was one of my first experiences of my prophet voice. And I gladly kept that prejudice. So 3 years ago, I arrived in New Orleans on December 23rd of 22 and stayed there for the whole Mardi Gras season, which runs 6 weeks. And after that season, on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, there's a huge parade with some of the same floats, and I was in the spot where they were organizing the parade. And on the loudspeaker, they played Neil Diamond singing Sweet Caroline. Bom, bom, bom. And I said to a guy there, a guy about my age, I said, why? Why, in a city that prides itself on music, that's got all this spectacular music, why is everybody going crazy about that asshole Neil Diamond? He says, man, every bar in America, you play that song and everybody goes, bom, bom, bom. And I went back to Jim Griffin here in Asheville, my Americana coach, and said, what do you think about this? And he says, well, actually, Neil Diamond came up the hard way, Tin Pan Alley. He's got a good story, actually, so he's more than you thought. So I had to let go of my one proudly remaining judgment was against Neil Diamond. God damn it. God, why do you do this to me? Put me through all this shit. I wanted to hold on to every time I think I'm right about a prejudice, every time I assume I've got it pegged, I'm always missing something important. Now that sucks. Because I'm smart. I was like fucking Mensa. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Have a good afternoon, folks.